What's up, dudes? Welcome back to another episode of Rhomas Men's Team. Pretty simple. We are a group of guys helping each other make progress towards each other's goals. If you're new to the channel, awesome and welcome. If you want to help support the channel and join our pro team, head over to rhomasteam.com/pro, where you can contribute to us on a donation basis. We also give you access to exclusive content, mastermind groups, etc., etc. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you on the team.
Apologize, still a tad under the weather, but I did not want to leave you guys hanging. Mr. Ray, what's going on, brother?
Good morning, Wes. I sound better than you, but as usual, you look better than me. It's an unseasonably warm 55 degrees in Toronto today. I put the top down on my vintage Mercedes. That took about 45 minutes because it like kind of, stopped halfway through, but it's amazing how a bit of nice weather. It's amazing how emotionally vulnerable I am, Wes. I really need to work on my resilience all around because, if it's like a long time between nice sunny days or a long time between revenue coming in or a long time between meals, I just get really this kind of sense of despair. And so I really need to recommit to the scorecard so that I can stack my wins. Question for you. Has your scorecard been suffering with how busy you are? Have your daily habits been suffering, and has that caused the body to break down?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, one of the main things on the scorecard is sleep. And that just fucking went out the window. I had a birthday party that Rob was at, and we did some cold plunges. And when my system was already super low, I mean, I think I told you guys I've been working for anywhere between 15 and 19 hours a day, quite literally for months now. And then we did some cold plunges for the birthday, and Rob beat me by 15 seconds on our first go. So I think I stayed in there for 5 minutes and 30 seconds, or 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and he stayed in for 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I wasn't aware it was a competition. Foolishly, wasn't aware, and
that's a lie.
He beat me. So then I went back 2 days later and I stayed in for 12 minutes and 40 seconds, something like that, just to make sure there's a nail in the coffin that he can't come back from.
But Wes, turns out it's your coffin.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine going out on my terms. So
awesome.
How do you know he can't? How do you know he can't do 12 minutes? He hasn't attempted yet.
Well, I'll go in that fucker for 45 minutes. Yeah. But to answer your question, Ray, my scorecard has for sure been suffering because of what we had with the business. My partner passing away. It has created the circumstance where you just work as much as possible. So the gym has suffered tremendously. Sleep has suffered tremendously. Reaching out to my family is one of the things on the scorecard. The act of love. I mean, basically everything has suffered, minus nutrition and minus work, and that's basically been it for 4 months now.
Now we have a lot of new brothers joining the squad here. I love how you have renamed the general comment section of our Discord The Huddle. That's just a fantastic name. And I think I was listening to Alex Formosi, and he went from when he was doing his YouTube videos, and he changed the name from, how to open a gym or expand your gym franchise to The Game. That made it a lot more accessible and reflected his change in mission of just talking about entrepreneurialism in general. And I wonder, just want to put the seed, I think we might experience the same thing if we start using the term The Huddle, because that really captures how we communicate and the kind of the trust and bond between all of us. Now, so
shout
for
out
those,
to Kyle, by the way, who created that. Kyle,
okay. Here I am, heaping praise on you. Took you a while. You absorbed a lot of that praise before you mentioned Kyle. But anyway, so for the brothers out there who are just joining, anyone in the chat, if you want to throw the Discord link in there so that anyone new can click and join us. What we refer to as the scorecard, and I'll do the talking if to spare your voice, Wes, is something that our OGs, Matt McCusker and Wes Rollins, started back in college, which was 10 or more years ago, where they created a scorecard of daily habits, which are things that they must do every day to kind of achieve their long-term goals, or just like the really good daily habits that a day, a week, a month, a year could go by without you doing, unless you kind of really, and they found that keeping a daily scorecard and checking it off kind of ensured the highest chance that they would get things done. The scorecard includes 10 or more sections, categories that every optimally functioning man should probably do on a daily basis. One, you score your sleep. Did you get 8 hours sleep last night? Now, we're not going to get 8 hours every night. You're going to wake up, you're going to be restless. You're going to not have 8 hours because you got to get a flight in the morning or something. But the goal is to get 8 hours, to park your butt in bed for 8 hours a night. Weight, you check your weight on the scale each day. Weight isn't the only measure of health or, fatness or thinness or whatever, but it is one of the metrics, and it is one of the data points you can input every single day and track every single day. Water, did you drink at least 1 liter of water today, or whatever metric you choose? Again, you can spread this out over the whole day, but a whole day can go by for lots of us without drinking the appropriate amount of water. So we have it here. We drink it during the scorecard hour. Like typically we do this for an hour at the beginning of the day to really stack our wins. Act of love is sending a text message or something else like that to someone who needs it, or someone that you're grateful for. So like someone who needs it is one of your bros who's struggling. Someone who's you're grateful for is like a mentor. Goal review is can come in different forms. Mine is a vision board. You can tell I look at it every day because it's really dog year. A learning segment, a journaling segment, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of movement. Wes, sorry for that drawn out description, but there's your YouTube clip. Want to add anything else to a general introductory discussion of the scorecard?
Yeah, I think it's really important to acknowledge a conversation that Andrew Huberman had with Tim Ferriss. And Andrew Huberman was referencing a chat that he had with a fellow colleague at Stanford University. This particular person was in the psychology department. And I forget the exact list that he said, but he asked this psychologist, he said, let's chat about depression. And Ray, to your point earlier, he said, how much of depression do you think could be alleviated if you did the basic fundamental stuff that did not involve pharmaceuticals? And he gave a list that I'm pretty sure is basically baked into the scorecard. Sleeping, having proper social connections, right? Having a sense of purpose, like these types of things, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you're eating properly. But the crazy thing is, I've never really heard it listed like that. My perception around depression was dramatically different. And this was coming from, I'm going to assume he was a professor at Stanford, so he's one of the top, professors in the world on this particular topic. So the moral of the story is we created that scorecard so that even when you don't feel like it, and Corey, I want to throw the ball over to you in a sec, how important is it for a man to do his fucking job regardless of his feelings? Now, I'm also not saying that you should just continue on for 4 decades in something that you hate. That's different, right? There's a break even. As men, we need to have judgment as well. But how often do you not want to fucking go to the gym? It's going to be relatively often, 20, 30% of the time, whatever, right? But you go anyway because the results don't care about your feelings. So Corey, let me throw it over to you. And then guys, for the new guys, I'm gonna randomly pull some of you up. Don't feel obligated to come on, but we'd love to have you come on, share a win or share a loss or share an obstacle that you're dealing with right now, or give your your opinion on this topic. Corey, let me throw it over to you. What are your thoughts on the concept of, not only do the work anyway, despite your feelings, but do the work knowing that you will not want to do the work a significant portion of the time?
Yeah, I mean that's where successful human beings kind of make their money. Is in that friction right there. I think you have to hold yourself to a level of accountability, especially if you have dependencies like family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, sorry, that's just Robert being rude.
Yes. And so, I agree with you. Yeah, there are times where I don't want to go to the gym, but it's legitimately, I view it as my job, because what that does is that propels me to be successful in my other categories of life, whether it's work, whether it's my relationships. So I think what it comes down to is the level of prioritization that you have, and knowing that not only do you have to get the job done, but you have to get the job done well, regardless of how you feel inside and out. I think you can compartmentalize the two. You can, rest and, recover, because that's a huge component of kind of the scorecard, right? Is recovery, and, recovery emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. And so, you can set that aside for the time being because there are other things that are a priority at this moment, right? And I think you just need to view it in that capacity.
Whoa!
I completely agree.
Lauren, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing tremendous. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll throw the mic over to you in a second. But Corey, I think you bring a very valid point. It's not just about the quantity, which you execute regardless of whether or not you're feeling up for it. It reminds me of a quote from Will Smith's dad, who said, showing up with a good attitude is part of your job description. So that there's a qualitative part as well. I also think it's important to recognize the percentage of time. I mean, I don't want to fucking be here right now. 1,000,000%. The percentage of time where my mind is not at a level 10, I'm going to, for any given domain, gym, work, showing up for conflict in a relationship, especially conflict, I don't want to be there 20, 30, 40% of the time. But then, Corey, do you find that when you do that, what percent of the time do you regret it after you proceeded anyway? Yeah.
0. Yeah. I mean, it's that's the thing, is like, there's something about getting a task done, doing something that contributes to your productivity or your progress in some capacity, that yields so much more than the emotional, the physical pain. Now, obviously, I deal with anxiety, and depression, like everybody, obviously, not speaking to anybody else's journey, but I feel like there's some kind of utility I get when going through that physical or emotional rigor in order to complete a task. It's very cliche to say it's not the destination, it's the journey, but I like the grind. That grind is what I feel like separates the successful entrepreneurs of the world versus the ones who just have big ideas, right? And don't actually take advantage of what they can do. So that I think is the difference, is what Michael Jordan's sick game, Kobe Bryant pulls his Achilles, right? Still finishes. Like, I think that's the difference between a winner, and someone who's kind of, just going with the flow of things.
Rob, what's your perspective on this topic?
I mean, I think we're pretty much in agreement. Say what you will about Andrew Tate, but he had a comment one time that I thought was great. It's like, I don't care if I'm sick or tired or upset. Like, it's irrelevant to my day because I have things to do and I'm going to do the things that I got to do. So I don't care how I feel. It doesn't even matter. It's just not pertinent to what I'm going to do to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And when I heard that,
it made me think to myself, like, dude, there is no excuse. Like, everyone has an excuse. There's always an excuse. But it's like, the reality is, when you meet that friction point, or like you feel that pain, that's where like the magic starts. And it's like what Corey said, the second, or like what you said, the second you do it and the second you accomplish it, you feel so much better. And the price of not doing it is so much higher. Yeah. The regret that you'll feel.
Hey dudes, sorry for the interruption here. Just wanted to let you know, if you want to join our pro team, go to romasteam.com/pro. You can help support the channel. You will also get access to exclusive content, masterminds, one-on-one sessions, etc. All right, back to the episode.
So what is your percentage of reversion? In other words, when you go through and you grind it out, how many times do you regret that you grinded it out?
That's the thing. Never. You never regret the time you put in your best foot forward. You regret the time you don't put your best foot forward. So it's like, it's too costly not to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Lauren, let me throw it over to you. If you don't mind, introduce yourself, bud. It's the first time I'm seeing you. What's your story? What are you dealing with? What, either your perspective on this topic, or a win that you've recently had, or an obstacle you're currently faced with?
Yeah. So on that note, I've had a tough couple of 2 weeks, dealing with sicknesses, dealing with coworkers that are sick or quote unquote sick, and still showing up and still being there. The biggest triumph I've had this week, and I just really want to throw this back to you guys and say thank you for setting up the scorecard, even though I haven't started on it yet. I had to start my own just to kind of get a baseline built. And if I can share that, is that okay?
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So for me, it was kind of the 3 M's, checking in with myself. And this is the name that I gave it, And it comes down to, am I minding my own business? Make that what you will. That's your job. Am I maintaining my space? Do I have a space that I can work in that I'm okay with? Are my coworkers respecting that? Am I respecting that? And then number 3, what I'm working on a day-to-day basis is making my exit. Whether that's the end of the day, whether that's 4 months from now, whether that's if I need to leave in 2 minutes, I've got something ready. So it's been a rough 2 weeks just to kind of plan that out for myself. And the mental clarity I've gotten from being sick twice this month has been kind of monumental. And then combined with what you guys have been putting out has been a game changer. So I don't know if I answered all your questions there, but I just can't say.
That's awesome, man. Thank you, brother. Let me ask you this: where are you located, and what do you do?
I'm currently at my job here in Farmington, New Mexico. I work at a golf course. You can hear us grinding down the reels for the fairway mowers right now, getting ready for the summer. I graduated college about 2 years ago with a degree in ag business and economics, and just been really struggling to find where my place is in this world. And that's kind of where I'm at. Coming back to the 3 M's, maintaining my space, which is number 2. I had to tell people this morning that this is how I feel and this is what I'm doing. Catch me at 10 o'clock.
Do you mind if we go round table here? One of the benefits I think the group can provide, if you're open to it, is everybody providing their commentary in a good, positive way. Are you open to that?
Hell yeah.
I'll go first if you don't mind, to set the tone. I'd be curious what it would look like if you considered adding a third M to the list, which is moving towards your North Star goal, which implies that you have to think through that, right? Like, what is the North Star goal? Because in my opinion, you've already passed the prerequisite test, which is you're showing up despite your fucking feelings, right? And you're moving forward. Now, I wonder what would happen if we just directionally calibrated that, right? Like, moving forward towards what, right? Because you could be moving forward towards an island you don't want to land on, right? So I wonder what would happen if you did that, if you don't mind me saying that. And Ray, let me throw the mic over to you.
Right. Yeah, sorry, I said Epstein Island, but I don't know Lauren well enough to know whether he would or would not like to land on it. All are welcome at this meeting, though, by the way, dude. All are welcome. Lauren, I love where you're at. I can identify with what you're saying. And Wes, although everyone's welcome here, it's like this is the perfect group for Lauren. This is like the kind of person we had in mind when I think this is the kind of person we had in mind. I didn't start the group, but when you started the group, or as it has evolved over the last 3 years together, like this is exactly what we had in mind. The guy has done the work. He's ready to show up, and he just needs to get into the huddle and either, and just like hear the join the circle, right? And like give his input and receive input and do with it what he will. Lauren, the goal, the North Star goal, and directionally orienting yourself towards that, I think would be very useful for you as well. So Wes, something that we're going to have to do on a semi-regular basis now that we're really growing the huddle here is do goal setting sessions. And Lauren, what we do is the goal setting takes several. It's several versions. First of all, like I said, we have a vision board. And so the structure of Wes's vision boards is put what you want in the middle, right? So I want to own this home, which I do, and which my wife does. She knows. And then I want a winter holiday home and a summer holiday home. And on the around it are the things I must do, such as sell art to these people, get 8 hours sleep, meditate daily, eat healthy, keep my Prius lifestyle, have a bang and bod from working out, have a bang in art gallery, reach out to people by email, reach out to people by phone, follow Wes's lead. So I would encourage you at some point to create a vision board that you can review. I also have it on my phone as a screensaver so that I look at it up to 60 times a day. And then with the goal setting session, what we do is we take 10 different areas. I don't remember off the top of my head, though: fitness, health, the art of life, wealth, career, and we set 5 micro goals in each section. And then, but part of your journey before all that or during all that is figuring out what you want, which is the North Star goal. Lauren, are you familiar with the term North Star goal?
It makes quite a bit of sense to me. Yeah, I can understand.
Wes, do you want to define North Star goal?
Yeah, I think a really easy way of defining it is creating a goal so large that other people laugh at it when they hear it. I think that's the best metric that I could think of, because the human brain and body has such an amazing capability to actually triangulate and go in a direction that you said it, despite the current facts that are on the table. And it actually doesn't take much to prove this. Corey, think about the money that you're making now, if you don't mind me saying this, and you don't have to say the number. Think about the money that you're making now, and do you think that would have been possible if I asked the 25-year-old you? Yeah, I mean, it's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, no shot, man. I mean,
I knew.
Yeah.
I always believed in him.
I mean, I thought if I could make $100,000, I would be set for life. Now, obviously, different economic climate and everything. Lauren, I think you're right on pace, man. I think one of the critical things that you had said that is really like everybody should take away is finding your own space. I think internally, like being able to kind of wade through the chaos of like what's going on currently, and kind of being able to take that time for yourself, whether it's going to the gym, playing golf, like just reading a book. Like I think that delivers a ton of utility for yourself, that allows you to kind of take that next step. But to Wes's point, I think, yeah, of course, if you could figure out, sometimes it's hard to figure out the giant dream that you want. You're in the process of figuring it out. Sometimes I have that. It fluctuates for me from time to time. And so I think, if you could establish like little tiny, I guess I'll call it like micro goals for yourself, just to make sure that you are going in the right direction. For me, that really helps, at least with the anxiety of like, okay, hey, where do I want the finish line to be, right? Sometimes it's a little enormous to think about. And so personally, I like saying, having little tiny things, like if I can work an hour today on this thing, or read about this one article, or this topic, get some more information on this topic. I think that puts you in the spot to where it doesn't matter where your finish line is, you're going in the right path regardless. So I love what you said, and I think you're on the right track, 100%.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. I also think the other point, and then Lauren, we're going to let you go if that's okay, unless you have something else. Not getting resentful. So I used to work on a golf course as well. I've been a janitor. I've been I used to dig holes, literally ditches for Verizon to lay their fiber optic cable. A bunch of jobs that were just fucking awful. But I found myself always on the razor's edge of getting resentful because I could tell that I didn't want the results of the people around me, but I didn't want to make them wrong for that, if that makes sense. Oh, fuck these guys. They don't know. And then, blah, blah, blah. So it's a really hard thing. It's like, so what I would challenge you man to man is like, how can you toe that line of really committing to your journey, but also being okay with other people's journeys? Do you know what I mean? Because I have a funny feeling that your ambition is 10x of where your peers are probably that you're working with. That's my guess. So I would challenge you not to make them wrong for that. And I would also challenge you maybe in your own way to bring them up in whatever capacity that they are able to. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm totally down with that. Rob, yes.
Yeah, I just want to say, Lauren, dude, I appreciate you sharing because I feel like there's a lot of people in here who've probably been what you're going through, like myself included. And I think when we talk about it and bring it to light, it helps everybody understand that, hey, we're all in it together. We have the same feelings. So you're not alone. It's not something that everyone else hasn't felt. And I think, dude, the first step is showing up, homie. I think you got it, buddy. Just like Wes said, such great advice. And I've learned to really respect Wes's advice is execute. If it's uncomfortable, my suggestion would be to even what Corey said, just an hour, figure it out. Have a plan, man. How old are you, bud?
25, going on 26 next month.
Dude, you got so much time, homie. The game is just starting. Trust me, you gotta just dedicate the time and have the uncomfortable conversations, which you're doing. You're gonna be fine, dude. I just think finding your North Star goal, like Wes couldn't have said it better, dude. You still have we're all a little bit older, me, Corey, and Wes and Ray. So it's the time of doing
just a little.
Yeah. But it's dude, it's true. Wes said something that really hit home. It's we're no longer in the idea phase. We're all in the doing phase. And 10 years comes up quick, bro. So I think if you're in the idea phase, man, really lean into it. Figure it out. Take the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and if I can jump in, Lauren, another mental model that might help you is Jordan Peterson's maxim, which is treat yourself like you're someone else that you're in charge of helping. So for me, I'm always so available to help people with their resume or their college application or their whatever dilemma. But when it comes to myself, I'm not as, it's way more murky as to what I should do. So a good mental model maybe for you to try is let's say there was another Lauren you were working with and he came to you and he was like, hey man, got out of college a little while ago, working this job, feel like there is a runway for me somewhere, but I don't know what it is. Think about what you would say to that guy. And just to reiterate what Rob said, man, by coming here and being vulnerable like you did, it helps to rewire my brain because not only are we all in this together, we're all on some different version of your journey, a very similar version. So just hearing you talk it through helps to stack the Lego in my brain and gets me pumped up about my day and my life. So thank you, brother. Wes, throwing it back to you.
Oh yeah. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on, brother. Well, we're going to bring another guy up here, dude. Welcome to the team. Hey, Arjuna.
Thanks, Lauren.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Arjuna?
Yeah, just how it's spelled. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What's going on, brother? What's a win, a loss, an obstacle, or just something you want to share your perspective on?
Well, first I wanted to thank you. I just stumbled upon this like a week or so ago, and I really have been taken to it, watching all the old pods with you and Matt, and a lot of really relevant stuff. It's right up my alley.
Oh yeah, man. We're trying.
Yeah.
Matt, just so everybody knows, Matt was just on Joe Rogan a couple of days ago again.
No way.
Yeah, he was going to come on today, but his schedule got a little conflicted. So we're going to try to get him back on either next week or the week. We'll see.
You telling me Joe Rogan, like he picked Joe Rogan over us on his, like, he had a conflict in his schedule? Fucking Hollywood, Matt. All right, go ahead. Anyway, Arjun, just so you know, Wes, Arjun is single-handedly keeping the Discord afloat. Like, so I just want to thank you, Arjun, for all your input. I know you and Ben and all the other bros are having some robust discussions on there, so I appreciate that.
Well, it's very
back to you, Arjun.
It's very it's very what's the word? It goes back and forth.
It's a circle.
Yeah. That's why I picked up to it so well. I'm like, oh, this is the exact format that I needed right at the time. Anyways.
And don't be afraid to correct Ray on mispronouncing your name. I believe it's Arjuna. Ray.
Arjun, Arjan. I get all the
Argent is the French word for money, Wes, you peasant.
He's trying to project financial success on me. I respect that.
Dude, I'm manifesting. And I'm getting 15%, by the way, Arjun. But so Arjun, like, tell us where you're at, where you're at in your journey, and why does this group resonate with you so much?
Yeah, so just quick background. It's pretty, Cliff Notes. It's pretty deep, whatever. But like, I grew up with a mom and two sisters, so it was all very emotional, very feminine. My mom wasn't very healthy because my dad was an abuser, and so it like kind of fucked everything up in the family. Yeah. And so I kind of had to like figure out my own stuff, but I still had some repressed stuff because there was sexual experimentation between my sister and I at a young age. And because my mom never healed from my dad, then at a young age, I never felt like I had anyone to talk to. I was just more like, if you have a sexual inadequacy, you're a monster and you're going to get excommunicated from the family. Like that was kind of the impression I got at a very young age. And so when I hit puberty, all this stuff, I had these unhealthy things. It turned into voyeurism, stuff like that. I ended up going to jail much later. And when all that happened, it was like a spiritual purge. It was like my full facing my shadow, and there was no fear. I gave everything to the law and was like, all right, here, this is everything. This is everything I've ever done in my life. I want to like let go of this. Anyways, that was about 5 or so years ago. So there's been like a lot of healing, a lot of letting go of shame and self-acceptance and stuff like that, as I kind of exercised all those demons, if you will. And so, yeah, the last few years has been me just trying to like, I'm finally out of my own way to where I can actually like achieve my goals because I don't have this thing that's been kind of like holding me down my entire life. And so in that, I've been building a lot of momentum. I fell in love with parkour, slacklining, freestyle rapping, all these different creative things. And in all this momentum, I found my partner, my girlfriend. It's been really like, I remember one of the ones you guys were talking about like building momentum, how important momentum is. Mm-hmm. And so like after getting out of jail, I was doing that for years. So like everything was coming true. And now I'm in this kind of like domestic relationship, and I love being in love, but it kind of pushed me back a little bit. I don't want to say push me back, but kind of stagnated me, like just kind of being just kind of lethargic in love, watching shows and kind of falling out of my routines a little bit. And so, yeah, I found y'all like a week or so ago because the last few months I've been really out of all of parkour, all this stuff. I'm barely going to the gym. And so I found all this, and now it's been nice to have a place to be able to hold myself like you guys were saying in the past pods, like it's a lot harder to hold yourself accountable when it's just you, because you're like, it's no big deal. But the second you like outwardly express it, even if it's someone you don't know per se, like there's just more accountability, especially in this format where it's like there's people who are like, fuck yeah, get after it. And so, yeah, I hadn't cleaned my truck in like a year and a half. I still had stuff from a festival I went to 2 festivals ago. And like,
I can't imagine the smell.
And so just different. Yeah. And getting back into parkour and like just doing all this stuff and just feeling so like cleaning the truck was a big win. And yeah, and
Yeah,
like
but
I
that's
said,
what Lauren would call maintaining your space, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, Lauren, Arjun, let me say, man, takes a lot of courage to just say what you said. I can identify with a lot more of that than I'm willing to say publicly. And so just want to let you know it takes a lot of courage to tell us your journey, warts and all. Wes and I both have, like, frankly, like, dark experiences that really kind of like confused us growing up, which involved like abuse, violence, poverty, abandonment, all that stuff. And this is something I wanted to talk about Lauren with too, right? Which is like the best athletes can take that dark side, right, where they want to kind of like convert that into getting even with the world, and they convert that into like training their muscles, training their mind, practicing their shot, practicing their craft. And the best in the game can convert that dark energy that the world has kind of inserted into them into like kind of nuclear fission or something. So tell me, like, I don't think you got to like a North Star goal, or like, how are you in your goal setting process?
Well, I actually have a pretty tangible goal. Like, they kind of, like you were saying, it seems unrealistic and like reaching for the stars, but I mean, I've done a lot of work myself and been out of my own way where I can actually see these men. I mean, even this right now, like, I had the opportunity to talk to Matt when I went and saw him up in Tacoma. I'm in Portland. And even I believe that your heroes are just your friends if you get out of your own way enough, because there's something about them that's inspired you. But if you keep them on the God level, then you're leaving yourself down at the human level, rather than being like, oh, well, they inspire me because there's something that I'm reaching for. And anyways, that said, like, I don't know if y'all know Harry Mack, the freestyle rapper. He just did a thing. He just started a YouTube and had like he's like, sample a minute of a freestyle and then send it to me. And I've gotten really, really good. I'm just so insecure about sharing it. Like, I am as good as anyone who I look up to behind closed doors. So like, that's a very tangible goal, to be able to hold a good, I mean, I can flow for minutes and minutes and minutes, but to like, as soon as there's something on the line, or as soon as there's some sort of insecurity based thing, then that body mind connection kind of goes out of the way. So I've been like been really kind of focusing on that. It's just, and I also I really want to be like a performance artist through slackline, like dancing and movement on the slackline, and like travel festivals, stuff like that. But again, it's all I know that I'm going to be a success through society, because it's my biggest fear. I don't want.
Okay, Arjun, time out.
Yeah, sure.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Well, I'd say Harry Mack, because.
Hold on, time out. Sorry. I'm not familiar with his. I've never heard the name before. So can you give me a couple of bars of what his most like famous song is, and I might see if it.
Well, that's what's crazy. He's known for freestyling. His content off the dome is better than is as good as. I can tell Corey is familiar with him.
Yeah, I love Harry Mack. Shout out to Harry Mack. He is like, if you guys have an opportunity,
he is the light of
someone in their craft, like do something that's, often I look at like people who do things and be like, how the hell do they do it? And that man's mind, and how quickly he can do it, and how he can flip. I encourage everybody to take a look, dude. Harry Mack.
So Corey,
put some lines for us. I think it was what Ray's going to ask.
I know. That's the thing. I don't know if
it's situational. He just doesn't.
Arjun, give me your favorite Harry Mack line from recent memory that you remember him saying that was like.
Okay. Really, I don't. Well, again, it's all off the top of the dome, so I don't remember the line. But the last one I watched last night, because he goes out and then just pulls crowds through his craft. And there was the line where there was two completely separate groups of people on the beach, and he said something like, after this is done, maybe y'all can be friends. Like, so even the intent of his words is trying to connect people. You can see people kind of have this persona of stranger out in public, and he intentionally unifies people. Like you can feel his intention of like unifying humanity. It's really
So Arjun,
yeah.
just so you know, like you just freestyled 5 words publicly, and this will be uploaded to the internet. So I just forced you,
I
despite
see what
Corey
you're doing.
derailing us, I forced you to freestyle publicly. Wes, do you want to tell them about the challenge you placed at my feet about publicly recording and sharing with my clients and then sharing it on social media?
Yeah. So Ray sells art, and one of the ways I told him to distribute his sales pitch is to just become the enthusiastic teacher, take videos of himself, and text them to his prospects.
Which I really enjoy.
And Arjuna. Yeah, please, Rob, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, no, I was just saying I really enjoy. Ray sent me that content, and I liked it. Made me appreciate art more.
Thanks, dude. You're about to get spammed.
Yeah,
I think,
perfect, bro.
I think Arjuna, it sounds to me like you're on your way. And I also think you just gave us a masterclass in your introduction on shining light on shame. Because for those of you who caught it, I mean, obviously you caught the words, but if you caught the willingness and openness of Arjuna and just the way he just flowed through his description of what many would never want to say again in their lives.
Carry to their grave. Carry to their grave.
That puts rocks in their backpack so they can't move as fast. So I commend you, brother. You taught me something there, right? Like be willing
100%.
to own my past and also to forgive myself for whether it be violence or whatever it is. It's like, hey, you made the decisions at the time, of however old you were. We were all fucking knuckleheads at some point in our lives and probably still are to a certain degree. Corey, let me throw the mic over to you, bro.
Yeah, Arjuna, I mean, first of all, thank you for sharing. I think we've all been in your situation in some capacity. Like we've all like gotten a little lethargic. I mean, especially on the love side of things. Like sometimes that's the happiness you need at the time. Maybe you just need to shut down the engine. So I don't want you to beat yourself up over it because like there's ebbs and flows to all success stories, right? The question is like, now that you're conscious about it, is like, how are you going to move forward? That's what's the defining moment. And it sounds like you're open to all opportunities. And first of all, at your guys' age, like putting yourself like on this podcast or not saying no to opportunities is a huge tool in your arsenal. I can't say that enough. I mean, I know Robert and myself, we all wish we were open to more opportunities. And the good news is that these are all experiences and you get to check them off the box to say, okay, hey, this works for me or this doesn't work for me. And then you just get closer and closer to the that North Star that you want to have. And so, I mean, I think the only other piece, that I'd really mention in regards to your story is like, don't be afraid to kind of absolutely, you said your goals are feasible. Don't be afraid to make some stretch goals. Maybe something that's a little bit out of what you would think your range is. And the reason is your body adapts. Stress builds this character, builds this level of work. And so, putting yourself in stressful positions will ultimately build you up, for your endeavors down the road.
Sure. Well, last thing, because I did talk about slacklining, freestyling, but I've also after transitioning out of doing all that shadow work, that's when I discovered parkour. And it's crazy how many parallels there are in metaphors for the journey of parkour that is completely aligned with life. And yeah, facing stress, facing fear, knowing your abilities, like being very, very, very practical with your capabilities. And that's gotten me so strong in understanding and then I can actually implement that outside of it and actually know what I have control and don't have control. Whereas without it, it's very easy to project. You're like, I can't. But with something like parkour, you have a very clear, defined understanding of what you can and can't do.
Black and white.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. Robert, let me throw the ball over to you.
I think I can already see the content that Arjun can create. And I think with his voice, it'll be so compelling. Back to you, Wes.
Hell yeah. Yeah, Robert, let me throw the ball for you, bud. Any thing to mention on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think Arjuna. Appreciate you sharing, dude. Like, I bet you there's a lot of people that resonates with that wouldn't be so forthcoming. So I commend you, because I think you're going to be, number one, able to help yourself, but help a lot of others by just being honest, because it's uncomfortable for a lot of people. But then secondly, man, congratulations on your relationship. It seems like you really enjoy it. And I can tell when you're talking about it, you're smiling and you're happy. And like, bro, it's okay.
Gosh,
to,
she's the best.
Yeah, dude. Like, dope. I'm happy for you, man. And like, it's okay to put some energy into that relationship. In fact, I think it's healthy.
Oh,
So,
I definitely do.
good, man. I mean, I think that like anything in life, and Wes kind of made me understand this, like relationships take work too. So I think you're on the right path. And like the other thing is, you got great camera presence, bro. Like even just being here, like just I would say spit, dude. Go spit. You can send the video to me. You can send it to Corey or Ray. You can send it to whomever, dude. Even if it's like like another thing. Wes has helped me a lot, dude. But the other thing is, he told me like 100% judgment free. I can tell him anything he wants, and like I've decided to live my life that way. People can tell me anything they want. There's judgment free. So it's like if you send me a video and I'm like, hey, bro, like whatever it may be, like I'm sure everyone here would also be very honest. You know, just I just try. You know, that's what I would say.
Well, that's why that's why I'm so happy I found this format, because I immediately recognized this is a place where I can feel, at the risk of over these days, feeling safe, feeling comfortable to be like, okay, well, I can share my expressions. I'm not going to be judged. I'm not going to be ridiculed, whatever.
Yeah. Arjuna, your story I dance as well. And I had a really great opportunity to practice with a Hall of Fame Broadway dance instructor at a conference. And he gave me this really profound line. I don't think he made it up, but he gave it to me just at the right time. And he said, Wes, the problem with your dancing is you're just practicing the moves until you get it right. You need to be practicing until you cannot get it wrong. And also practicing within the right context. So the fear that you're feeling of, sending whatever lines or freestyle to anybody, that's because you haven't done it before. That's part of the process. But I promise you, if you do it 1,000 times, on that 1,000th time, it will feel way more comfortable to you than on the first time. And
like asking women out or something.
100%. And on the 1,000th time, I'd imagine that part of you will miss the feelings that you felt on the first time. Right? There's the part of those butterflies can be nostalgia, represented as nostalgia in the future. So just enjoy the journey, bro. Phil, let me throw the ball over to you, buddy. Welcome on the stage here. You're on mute, just in case you don't know. What's your perspective on Arjuna's current area of life, et cetera?
I'm sorry, I've been having issues with this app again, so I didn't hear anything he said. So I've just been hearing you guys' response to it.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna bring somebody else up. Arjuna, thank you so much, brother.
I really appreciate it.
Hey, buddy.
We're gonna bring one more dude up. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that level of vulnerability is fucking rare.
Wes, I'm so pumped up, dude. I'm so pumped up about this awesome brotherhood that you have created, man. Thank you. Like this is like a Mount Rushmore episode. Again, thank you, dude.
Hey, I appreciate the compliment. It's kind of ill-founded, though. A circle, not a triangle. We're all doing it at the same time. I think, honestly, this is what men need.
Create a safe place. I feel like people feel safe, man. I think that's huge, buddy. Nice work. And Ray,
thanks,
good
dude.
job, guys.
Well, let's go around here again. Final section here. Men don't have enough landscape to be able to share a win, because society looks at it as either bragging or just like, oh, get back to fucking work, or oh, must be nice. But I think as part of this team, it's important to be able to share each other's wins. So, Corey, let me throw it over to you. What's a recent win you had, bro?
So one specifically that I've kind of been is not really a win for me, but a win for my employees. I at my current W-2 company, I was talking to my president and CFO, and it's our focal time. So we go over like market alignment, promos, etc. And we didn't make as much money as we needed to last year in order to really have like a good quality vocal. And I fought really hard for my employees to get a bunch of pay bumps that I thought were probably pretty unreasonable, but I gave the rationale. I explained why, and hoping for the best, shooting my shot essentially. And it all worked out. It's going to turn out that everybody's going to get, and maybe even a little more. And that to me is a powerful win because, number one, I threw it out there to see if it would be received. And I thought for sure that I would get shot down. And so just taking my attempt was a win. And then I think for my team to get recognized for the hard work that they do, I think that's a huge win. I'm an advocate for them, and I want them to be recognized for that, and showing them that they're important to our organization was huge. So that was a win for me.
Hell yeah, I love it. Two things I hear from your story. Number one, shoot your shot. Number two, when you can take a leadership role and responsibility for feeding others' families. Rob, let me throw it over to you, bro.
Dude, that's exactly how I took from that West too, by the way, Corey. Like, I appreciate you being a good leader, buddy. Like they appreciate it too. I'm sure if you don't hear from them, they that's how they feel. They might never know what you did, but like, I appreciate it. And there's a certain level that between me and Corey and what he's saying that I don't know, it's just too hard to explain. But anyways, I mean, honestly, I had a really good conversation with a buddy of mine yesterday. And like I feel like it was a really honest conversation, and I feel like we got closer, and like I really enjoyed that conversation. And like honestly, a lot of it was just because of the conversations I've had with Corey and with Wes, like some of my best friends, and it just felt nice because I feel like it helped, and it helped me. And it was like, dude, I'm starting to really understand how important this type of stuff really is for men, because we're all in the same spot, and it just kind of reinforced a lot of the things that Wes has taught me, and I feel like I did good by people this week, and I like that. And I think Wes really helped me, and Corey really helped me, and like Ray has really helped me, and like eventually all you guys are really helping me. But it's just been more focused on Corey and Wes because they're some of my best friends. But the reality is, like, I just appreciate the tutelage, and I felt like I could have potentially tuteled someone yesterday, and like I like that experience.
Hell yeah, love it, dude.
I wouldn't publicly admit that you almost tuteled someone yesterday. But, yeah, we need a code word for that.
It's a word, right?
Is a code word.
Is that a real word?
To tutor someone?
No, tootle.
I mean, I've got to exit. I'm legally required to exit this conversation at this time. But
he's going to tutor you.
Rob, I really want to see some teaching videos about whatever topic you want, man. Like, I want you to send me first of all, Arjun, I want you to send me a freestyle video on just you with the front-facing camera on your phone. Send me a freestyle video on Discord. I will not post it publicly. Rob, same with you, man. If you can just explain anything you want to me, because like you are a kind of like AAA communicator, dude. Like you're obviously a AAA listener too. Like the way you it's like the best AA meeting in the world where like I hear you share and like, why didn't I say that? God damn it. So like I want to tell you that, and I want you to action that by sending me like a video, whether it's like explaining how a mortgage works or something, whatever you choose. Wes,
I'll do it, buddy. I'll do it.
Awesome, dude. Wes, I was thinking, I just wrote a list of like, have I created value? And that's going to be my contribution for this segment. Like, and yeah, like I've been really kind of like I said, this has been the first nice day since like December. Sun's out. So I put the top down on my 19-year-old Mercedes convertible, which was on that was on my goals list a couple of years ago. Have I created value? And I'm not asking the guys if they haven't to create value. That's one way to do it, but like write down the ways in which you have created value in the last day or the last week. And some of them for me are like, a female friend of mine is struggling with alcohol addiction, and so she asked me, can I like sponsor her? So I've stopped going to my all men meetings, which I find really useful, and I've been going to an AA meeting with her a day. My mom has a kind of like bothersome tenant who sends like 3 text messages and 3 emails a day, and so I've taken over that responsibility for my mom. So female addict, female mom, female tenant. Female friend of mine is having trouble with her basement repair, so I went down there with the handyman and spent all Wednesday night till midnight doing those. My wife, even though we're estranged, I came over yesterday with a gift, with cake, with dinner, and spent a nice time with our daughter. My daughter's been sick this week. So I've spent like crazy hours with her. So like, even though like my business isn't where it's at and I'm feeling extremely uncomfortable about that, you know, the emotional roller coaster of sales, I've created a ton of value for people. Most of them are crazy women. All of them are crazy women. But, yeah, I just wanted, like, I just needed to tell myself that, right? Because like sales aren't coming at me like bullets in the Matrix or whatever. But, that's my contribution to the segment. Like I've encouraged the boys to ask themselves, have I created value? And, chances are the answer is yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it, buddy. Thank you for sharing, bro. John Michael, let me throw the ball over to you. What's a win that you've had recently, my friend?
A couple. So I had a good active service this morning. My dad's very sick right now, so he was diagnosed with grade 4 brain cancer in September of last year.
That's a super drag, dude. It's a super drag.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
But so him and my mom are going to Hawaii, so I drove him to the airport this morning.
Wow.
Earlier than I wanted to, but you know, got him going. And then on Tuesday had a win. Spoke with Frank here. We discussed a deal that I'm working on. It's an oil and gas deal. I've worked in the oil and gas industry most of my life. I don't particularly care for it, but it's a deal that my dad had going. And, you know, when he got sick, it's where the tumor was. He can't really communicate that well. So the idea was he had everything more or less set up, and I was just going to, you know, steer the boat into the harbor. And we hit a rock on the way. So now we're kind of back to square one, where I'm like trying to figure out how we get this deal done. But yeah, I spoke with Frank a little bit. He's not an oil and gas guy, but he's a sales guy, and got me really energized about how to put together a deck that we'd be presenting to investors. And we're going to go over it. I just emailed him the NDA this morning so we can go over everything and get some input on how to tighten that thing up. So yeah, that was a great win. Talking about it, I think I talked with Frank for like an hour on Tuesday.
Hell yeah. Awesome.
I love
congrats on taking the leadership reins, man. Just similar to Corey, what you were saying, you know, leadership's a real thing, and it's a verb. So congratulations on that. Frank, let me throw the ball over to you, bro. What's one win that you had this past week?
I was actually going to share what John Michael shared, because I think it was very gracious of him to open up. And I'm a complete stranger. We literally traded 2 messages on Discord, and he was willing to take me under his wing, teach me about oil and gas, and walk me through the details of the deal. And for me, the value I got out of that, John, was I love learning about different industries. I love the strategic thinking that goes into a negotiation and a big contract. And so there was value that you created for me too there, John. So that was one win. I'll share another one, since John kind of covered that one, which was my first meeting with you all was 1 week ago, 7 days ago on a Friday. And I hopped on and we talked about how I am still defining my direction on where to go with entrepreneurship. I just quit my corporate gig of 10 years. And we ended the meeting. I think it was Ray. You asked me, what are you going to do next, Frank? And I said, I'm going to stop thinking and pondering and trying to plan for something I don't even know what it is yet. I'm just going to start talking to people, sending out cold emails and networking and trying to really narrow down my options.
Now, hold on, Frank. It was Corey that gave you a recommendation. Was it Corey or Rob that gave you a recommendation on your number one of your four options, which is marketing in the cannabis industry, right?
Yes, it was somebody on the group who said that was my number one.
You can see, like, from an outside perspective, Frank, I can tell you're passionate about it, and there's money there, and like it's just from the outside, the kindness of a stranger, bro. I feel like that's your direction.
And
but
then
don't feel obligated,
Frank,
just an observation.
Yeah. Now, Frank, was there any movement on the cannabis this week?
Yes. So I met up yesterday with a mid-size. So you need to either be a producer, like you grow marijuana, or a distributor. You own a brick and mortar store or something like that. I met up with the mid-size license holder that does both production and distribution. And it was really a cold email. It was, hey, I'm looking to get into the industry. Here's my background. Would you meet up with me for 30 minutes to just answer some questions that I have? This evolved to a 3.5-hour conversation that I felt completely unprepared for. And if I look back, I would have said, let's cancel the meeting, push it back by a week. Let me think a ton before we met up. But instead, we just jumped in because this group really pushed me to. And they asked me for a partnership proposal at the end of the meeting. And so next week, I'm meeting up with them again to review. And these licenses are incredibly difficult to get. It's a lottery system. There's only 200 licenses available in the LA County of 10 million people. So to run into somebody with 2 licenses looking to expand their business, looking for a business partner, and needs the value that I can offer is incredibly lucky. And honestly, if it wasn't for this group last Friday saying, Frank, go do some shit, stop talking and thinking, go act, I probably would have missed this opportunity.
And Rob and Corey, what do you think of the action? Because I can tell you that Frank also sent me an email saying, hey, can we have a 30-minute convo? So like he's a man of action, dude. And what do you guys think of all that?
Very impressed, man. I think that's what it's about right there. It is putting yourself out there. You never know when you're gonna hit, right? As long as you keep taking shots, you're gonna hit eventually. And this is just evidence for that saying, right? Very impressed. Congratulations, man, and hopefully it leads to a big deal for you.
Dude, I find it highly motivating, Frank. Like, that made my day, man. Like, I'm glad that it re-encourages everything we all know, and like everybody needs to hear it all the time, dude. Like, you got to take shots to make shots, and then if it's uncomfortable, like, so what? Like with what Juno was saying, man. It's like, I bet you that guy's really talented. Like, I barely know him, but maybe he can learn from you, like doing something, taking a risk, and now he can like send Bray a video, whatever, dude. It's like, it's cool to see a community grow. Like, thanks for sharing that, buddy. That's great.
Yeah, man. Congrats, brother. Phil, let me throw the mic over to you, bud. What's if you don't mind sharing, what's one win? And I know you're going to give me resistance on this. That's the journey that you and I are on together, and that's good. What's a win you had recently, buddy?
Well, I do have a win, but I just do need to just, I don't know. I had a decent, small win yesterday, but before that, I've just been doing nothing most days, all day for like 2 weeks now. And it's really killing me. I don't know how to get out of this. I have a hard deadline. There's a sale I could participate in if I add some stuff. I need to update my game to participate in the sale, and that would get me probably a lot of sales. And I haven't done anything to get on that. And it's 3 days from now, so it's getting to the point where it's like I don't even know if I can get it done by now in time. And it's I just don't know how to get out of this spiral. I'm just doing nothing, and it's just I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know how to get out of this shit.
Let me ask you this: what's the win? To give yourself credit, what's the small win?
A game. There's a small indie studio that's making a game I'm very impressed by, and I interviewed with them yesterday, and it went pretty well. I interviewed with them to do some work for them, and it went pretty well. It's not gonna. It's gonna be a couple weeks at least until I even know if it's yes or no. But the interview went well. But that's literally it. You know, if it's not that, then it's, other than that, it's just, not a lot of positives right now. And it's,
do you mind if I comment?
can't. Yeah, sure. I don't know how to get out of this, and it's fucking driving me crazy. I don't know what to do.
So I think when I look at like the Kobes of the world, the Jordans of the world, et cetera, the guys that I like look up to in terms of competitiveness, they have this delusional ability to almost exclusively focus on their W's. Right? It's almost like their losses. Like it's like, yeah, well, you know, they won't even give the space to the losses. Friend to friend and man to man, I wonder if you almost take the opposite position of like, despite your fucking wins, right? Your brain, and I'm not saying that's bad, right? Like I think that's just the journey that you're on, is like focusing on like where you're not good at, or where you're procrastinating. It's like, I don't know, Corey, have you ever procrastinated massively?
Oh,
you know,
all the time, man. And like I said, you do have a win. You interviewed, there's potential there. That's huge, man. Just one step at a time. You don't need to, I mean, like, and that's kind of what I was saying to Lauren, was that sometimes tasks and stuff can just be overwhelming. Just, you know, whether it's one line of code, whether it's, you know, a walk outside to get the juices flowing, whether it's anything. It doesn't have to be specific to your task. It can contribute to it regardless. I think you just need a little momentum, and you can get yourself out of that 100%. But we've all been there, just in a lull, you know, not feeling it. So, just take one small. I think Kyle said it in the chat here. Just one small step, and you can get it rolling again. So don't even weigh on kind of like what's happened in the past.
Yeah, I think every single college paper I've ever done was done.
I'm sorry to be such an asshole, and I know the calls. I don't want to take up too much time. The call's been on for an hour now, but it's just not. That's just not reality. That's not my life. All right, I'm 33 years old, and I've wasted at least a decade. At least most of the last decade has been doing exactly what I'm doing right now, which is, being terrified of making very simple, very easy steps that would not be hard at all if I weren't so terrified of doing a very basic amount of work. So,
well, Phil, look, man,
I can't just keep waiting, because that's what I've been doing for a decade now, and I don't know how to get out of this cycle. I
Phil, you know, I can relate, man.
Yeah,
I'm 47, and I'm in the same situation. Like, I'm 47. Wes, if I can take this, I'm 47, man, and that was my story till I was about 46 and a half. No, wait, I'm 46. That was my story until I was about 45 and a half. Okay, dude. So like, you're showing up to this meeting.
45 then. That's
a start. No, dude, you can have this, like, just like all the other lads who are at this meeting today in their 30s, like you, and in their 20s. The miracle of the internet is that we're all able to like support each other despite living on opposite ends of the continent or the earth. And so, like, there are things that you can do, and if you want to have a conversation offline, we can do it. Like, I take a tiny amount of Prozac. I've taken larger amounts in the past, but that helps me. That helps me stay off my lowest lows, you know. And then for the rest of it, like action is the only thing that stops inertia, you know. Like I've had to hit my rock bottoms, whether it's in my relationships or addiction or career, in order to say, like, I can't tolerate this chaos any longer. And so you have to hit a rock bottom of sorts. Maybe you're there.
Right, well, I'm at rock bottom, and I keep doing nothing. So that's what the problem is, you know.
Okay, well, I gave you, like, first of all, you show up to this meeting every day, and like, my mom was just having this conversation with me today, and I didn't want to hear it, but she told me, Ray, you show up to your AA meetings every day because they're at a scheduled time. You show up to your men's group because it's at a scheduled time. You get stressed out about everything else because as an entrepreneur, and we're both entrepreneurs, Phil, everything else is variable, right? And so my my final recommendation is a message from my mom that I didn't want to hear, and it pissed me off because she was absolutely right, is that guys like me and maybe guys like you like thrive when there is a structure. And even though we're very entrepreneurial, the unstructured nature of entrepreneurialism lends itself to fear and inertia. Wes, do you have anything to contribute to that?
Yeah, well, let me throw the ball over to Rob because he raised his hand.
Please.
I wonder if maybe to break the pattern, Phil, you do something different, homie. Like I'm not, maybe try going to the gym or taking a walk or just trying to get your endorphins going or do something that's different. Like, do you like to go to the gym or do you like to exercise, or is there anything that maybe could, help your body naturally feel a little better by just being active?
Yeah, I could probably do that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he likes to bike. And I would say, bro, it's part of your journey. Like, I know you're not willing to give yourself credit, but the team's willing to give yourself credit. I mean, even we had Butterly on last week. It had
dude, Butterly loved Phil. Like, those guys growing off was like, man, that made my day and my week. Hey, Wes?
Well, I think it was cool because Butterly asked Phil the name of his game, and then Butterly went on whatever fucking game database, and he's like, "Oh shit, your game has a 9 out of 10 on Steam."
Yeah, you know what? You know why it's 9 out of 10? It's 9 out of 10 because all the people who wouldn't vote 100 voted positive don't know about it. The only people that know about it are the people that love it, which is nobody. That's why it's 9 out of 10.
Wes, I think that Tim Butterly probably knows that.
It's very easy to be positively rated when you have 50 ratings.
Tim Butterly knows that, dude.
Yeah. Well, and
anyways, I'm sorry. This is going to go on forever if you guys let this go on forever.
Yeah.
So
no, it's not.
Okay. I'm going to mute you so we can compliment you. Just mute you so we can compliment you. So,
dude, Wes,
Phil is also simultaneously.
Okay.
Yeah, Phil has not only got 9 out of 10 reviews. He's also made $7,000 from his video game. Like that is, you cannot argue that those are objective data points. Those are objective. So, John Michael, you raise your hand, bro. Let's have one final thought and let's get to it.
Yeah. So because I am very similar to Phil in that I do have a tendency to get into these just do nothing spirals. I've done it. I'm older than Phil by a little bit, and I've done it a lot. And I am currently don't have a ton of money. I'm trying to pull myself out of it. My question for Phil would be, there have been times in the past where you have been motivated to do so. You made a video game. You were obviously motivated when you were building out that video game. Go back and think about that time and what were the drivers for you staying motivated and finishing that thing, and then try to recreate that. So initially what jumped in my head is like, hey man, if you want someone to message you and say like, hey man, did you work on the game today? I'd be happy to do that, but that may not be what motivates you. So I kind of changed that thought of like, go back and think to times that you were able to keep yourself busy and stay motivated and stay on task, and what was driving that, and then try and recreate that. Cause that's happened to me a lot. And part of what mine is right now is I'm getting into shape, because I was a year ago, I was 261 pounds, I'm 6'1", I'm pretty fat, and I'm down to 215 now. And that just, I've noticed like those changes are like making changes in one area or making changes in another. That's kind of a different point, but just finding something else that you can work towards will often, and having success there will often lead to success in other places, like getting busy and doing more things. I don't know. But yeah, my big idea there is just find a time when you were able to make yourself work and do the thing that you know you needed to do, and then try and recreate that environment for yourself now.
Hell yeah. Well, dudes, thank you so much for hanging out. And Rob just texted me, said, Phil, just to add some extra skin in the game, if you don't submit the updated game, then he will come on the show naked on Monday. So you want to save the embarrassment. So
I don't think the camera's big enough to see all that.
All right, dudes. I love Corey's going to bust your balls for that after. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. See you guys on Monday.
What a session.
Guys.
Wow. Later, guys.